Chapter 13 is about adolescents working and their choice of vocation. What are the functions of having a career? Many of us have a career because it makes us feel as though we are somebody. It increases our self-esteem and it provides us a sense of self-acceptance and recognition. When we choose our vocational choice, there's many things that we need to consider. One of those being how much money we'll make, how much demand there is for the job, but also will we be happy doing this job? Will it give us a sense of independence from our parents? There are different theories in vocational development. Ginsberg has the compromise with reality theory, which basically says that it's not just a one-time choice. It's a developmental process. It occurs by us having to think over what it is we exactly want to do. The theory of career development says that there needs to be a circumscription and a compromise. Occupational environment theory by Holland says that we need to look at our personality and tie our career choice to our personality type. And then social cognitive theory takes kind of a behaviorist viewpoint and says that we should choose careers that are going to be rewarding to us. Ginsberg posed that vocational choice is not a single decision, but a developmental process. Usually as we age, how we make this decision will change. Children are in the stage of fantasy. Usually their choice of a career is not really going to take into account what they can do or if these jobs are available. They just look at it from a fantasy standpoint. If you ask a child what they want to be, you're likely going to hear that they want to be a rock star, or they want to be a ballerina, or they want to be a professional ball player. All of those are not very practical choices in careers. Then we go into the tentative stage from about 11 to 17, where we actually do look at our interest, our capacities, our values, what actually is out there and what actually can we do. And then the realistic stage comes at about age 17, where we do actually explore and specify actual career choice. Gottfredson also proposed that career choice is a developmental process. And so basically, first we have to look at what are the abilities that a job requires, and do we actually have those? And so that means to subscribe to the choices that are available to us that will work for us. And then during adolescence, we look at things like prestige, the status that this job will give us. Are our choices actually in line with reality? And then we make a compromise with what we can actually do and what actually fits our expectations. Holland believed that we should look at personality types and that jobs should be tied to our personality types. Those personality types are artistic, conventional, enterprising, investigative, and realistic. And each of those personality types have characteristics, and those characteristics will match up with particular careers. For instance, if you're conventional, then you like structure and order. You may also like working with numbers. So you would probably be a good bookkeeper, accountant, secretary, court clerk, jobs of that nature. And then the social cognitive theory is based on the theory of Albert Bandura. Basically that we choose jobs that are going to be rewarding, and also our parents influence our job choices by what they reward us and what we play with as we grow up. Individual career choices are influenced by our sense of career self-efficacy, which is our belief that we can actually succeed at something. And so that ties a lot into our career choice. What influence do parents have? They actually have a lot of influence on what we choose. Our parents encourage and discourage certain hobbies and interests, and so by doing that, they are actually influencing what it is that we're good at and what it is that we choose to do. Career self-efficacy refers to our individual belief as to whether we can succeed in a certain work area. Teens who believe that they can succeed in a career actually become more successful in exploring careers and then finally having a job that they are satisfied with. Parents serve as role models as they influence our self-efficacy. Our aspirations are higher when our parents and peers model and provide support and encouragement for our chosen career paths. And then school personnel can impact us by being mentors, personal connections, and encouraging us as we make these decisions. We still see a difference in male and females in the career choices that they make. Some jobs we just kind of expect to be a female, and some jobs we expect to be a male, basically on the idea that women are nurturers and men are more dominant breadwinners. Basically, if you look at careers, you're going to see more females in preschool jobs, secretaries, hairdressers, cleaning, teaching assistants, that kind of thing. You're going to see more males in jobs like truck drivers, grounds workers, construction, automobile mechanics. We still see a huge gender differences in vocational choices. There are barriers that prevent women from going into certain careers. Structural barriers are those that are externally imposed on what jobs will allow women to do them. Normative barriers are how girls are socialized to be feminine and how we don't see ourselves in doing the more masculine type jobs. And then distorted perceptions in that women assume that we can't do higher level executive type jobs. Females tend to be less likely to pursue degrees in science than males, also in math. If you look at the percentage of graduate degrees, 28% of math graduate degrees are female, 41% chemistry, 5% physics, and 25% computer science. Other crucial determinants of our vocational choice, many things that we need to take into account is our physical strength and speed. Jobs that require that, we need to decide if we have those abilities, our skills, our talents, and also the opportunities available to us. What jobs are actually available where we want to be. The more our interests parallel, the more successful we will be in the field. And then job opportunities, it is important that we look at what jobs continue growing. Largest projected growth is in the medical sector. And so that it should be, considered, is there still going to be a job out there years from now if I go this particular route? These are some projected job growths in different areas. And these are some starting salaries nationwide for majors in particular areas. The end of the chapter looks at not career exploration, but actually the idea of teenagers working. The book says that 90% of high school students hold down formal jobs before graduating. The question is, should teenagers work or should they focus on academics? Many people believe they should work. It builds responsibility. Other people believe that they should be focusing on school. The federal government does have limits on certain jobs that teenagers can do, usually associated with manufacturing, transportation, using machinery, hazardous materials, things like that. Typical jobs that adolescents have, girls tend to work in restaurants and retail stores. Boys tend to also work in restaurants and retail stores, but girls tend to do other jobs such as being a maid or taking care of children, babysitting, whereas males may focus on mowing yards, working in a factory, or working on a farm. Effects of youth employment, the positive side, like I said, is that they learn responsibility, they learn to manage money. The downside, of course, is that this takes time away from their academics and from their family. And it has been shown that teenagers who work develop bad habits such as smoking, drinking, using drugs, and have poorer grades. Being a volunteer is something that is positive for teenagers. This helps them to see what is out in the community, gives them some ideas of what they may want to do for a career. They get a chance to get a taste of what a job would be like before they actually jump into that career. Community service is correlated with high self-esteem and low levels of problematic behaviors. And then career education is something that the government has actually looked at and proposed acts to help teenagers in school develop job training while they are still in school. Tech prep programs, apprenticeships, and school-based programs all came out of this, in which students do get work experience while they are still in school. I do want to pause here and take a moment to offer you an extra credit activity. If you have been watching and listening to these lectures, I want to reward you for that. So the only way you're going to know about this is if you have stayed in this PowerPoint through the end. And so what you need to do is you need to send me either a message or an email saying that you did see or hear where I'm offering this extra credit for watching these videos. And I will give you 10 points on a non-proctored test. But you do have to email me or send me a message and let me know that you did hear this.